The friends of Jesus, who wrote down his story for us, spent a lot of time telling us what happened in the last week of his life. For them, and for us, this is the most important part of his life, because what he did wasn't just for those who were there at the time. His death and coming alive again was for the whole world and forever. So, what happened during this last week, which we call Holy Week? As his work came to an end, Jesus knew he had to go to the big city of Jerusalem for the last time. When Jesus arrived, everyone was excited. They thought he was coming as a rescuer king to get rid of their enemy, the Romans, and make Israel great again. They tore down palm branches from the trees and welcomed him, shouting, "Hosanna!" But Jesus began to say and do some strange things that week. Soon after he came into Jerusalem, he went to the temple, where he found people buying and selling things. He angrily threw them out, reminding them that the temple should be God's house and a place of prayer. During the week, he also told stories that made people wonder what sort of king he was going to be. The leaders became more and more angry and plotted to have him removed before he caused more trouble. By the Thursday of that week, the followers were creeping quietly through the back streets of Jerusalem to an upstairs room in a house. Here, Jesus celebrated the special Passover meal with his friends to remember how long ago God had sent Moses to rescue the people of Israel. During the meal, however, Jesus took some of the food and drink on the table and gave them new meanings. He held the cup of wine and said that this was going to be like his blood, poured out to rescue everyone. Later, he took some of the special flat bread that they were eating and broke it, saying that this was like his body that would be broken to rescue everyone. He then asked them to do it again and again in the future to remember him. At the end of the meal, Jesus took his friends down to a garden outside the city walls so that they could pray. But his enemies were already coming to get him. All his friends ran away while he was tied up and taken to be put on trial late that night and on into the next morning. They said all sorts of unkind things about him, accusing him of things he hadn't done, and they treated him cruelly. But not once did he fight or argue back, nor was he rude to them. He took all their hatred and overcame it with love. Finally, they took Jesus outside the city like a common criminal and had him nailed to a cross. Even then, Jesus did not give in to hatred, but was heard to say, "Father, forgive them." And he really died. The soldiers made sure of that. Once the crowds had gone away, some of his friends took his body down and buried him in a cave not far away. And then they rolled a great stone over the entrance. It seemed that this was the end. What sort of rescuer had Jesus been? His friends went home defeated and sad. They waited quietly during the next day, as it was a day of rest for the Jewish people. But early on the Sunday morning, some of the women went down to the cave to see if they could clean up Jesus' body, because it had been buried so quickly on the Friday evening. When they got there, they found that the cave was open. And then they discovered that Jesus had gone. Death was not the end. Because of what Jesus had done, God can turn death into life for everyone.